Hi, I just thought I'd better do a part 2 quickly, just to clarify. So, when I arrived on this land, the Lord said, "You're sleeping with the enemy." It's a movie, isn't it? Or was it you're in bed with the enemy? And I went, huh? So we've got the landowner, Des, and we've got the birch fields. The Lord's just quickened and opened my eyes, right? So, was it on the telephone that Brian rang me? Yeah, I think he rang me. No, he spoke to me because I saw it. So we were out there and he was doing a video with me of the fire half and the fire that's going in the beautiful room. And Des arrived at the gate and he said, "Oh, well, will you tell Des," because he's so sexist, "about that birch, that firewood." And he was pointing to the firewood at the gate. There's all these dead bits of birch. He's got his eye on firewood. He goes over to Ngāi and has a licence to take their firewood over the Ford. No, I've shown you it. Where oh, I've forgotten his name again. Isn't that weird? It'll come back. The man who released death. In the glory. It's not nice. My heart went so fast and my adrenaline rushed so hard through my body. But I went inside the temple where Jesus was and I was questioning him about it. It's a wee bit desperate. I was just sort of saying, "What's happening, Lord? What are you going to do? What are you going to do?" I was quite annoyed with the Lord for it, but I thank him for it now. It was the worst thing I've ever felt in my life. And that was just what people live with. They're going to live with that. And they're going to call it, now we're going full circle, and they're going to call it bad vibes. That's what this man that Des saw on the road after I saw his torch on the land stopped him, said, that was the man at the gate yesterday trying to come up. And then that light, that was like the tip-top containers, that's inside the tip-top containers, bounced him back and he said bad vibes. Because they will call evil good and good evil. So for him to be whacked back, and he was whacked back, he got whacked by an angel. He calls an angel of the Lord placed at the gate. He calls that bad vibes. I flip it. So that's the bad vibes. I flip it. 3 flips. Don't forget that. Glasses on. Oh, glasses off. The Treffers and Detective glasses on. The third one is glasses off again, and then you'll see Jesus. So this is how I saw Jesus. Des is the enemy. And so as Brian, I rebuked him. I said, why would I tell Des that? Basically, thanks for the info. Because he said birch is really good. I said, what's stopping me picking those up and putting them in the back of my truck and just driving up here and cutting them? He said, oh, a man never borrows his chainsaw. I said, did I ask to borrow your chainsaw? I said, I've got a potbelly fire and I've got enough firewood for this year, easy. But I might get some for next year. I don't rely on him. I don't need him to bring me firewood. He thinks I do. Thanks for the heads up. So the birch burns really well. And he said, a man doesn't borrow his chainsaw. And I said, did I ask to borrow your chainsaw? He said, the reason I don't have a chainsaw is I don't need one right now. I've looked into chainsaws. I've priced them. I've decided I'm afraid of them. I think they're very dangerous. But, yeah, I'm going to get one. It's going to be like a battery-powered one, like a DeWalt. Because I'm not going to go on my own cutting up big, thick logs. But I can cut up those little ones with a wee DeWalt. Get them in my truck and bring them up here. I said to him, I go for a walk once or twice a day. I know this land. I know what's here. I know that dry firewood's there. I didn't tell him, but why would I tell Des that? I said everything here's mine. Des doesn't go for scraps of firewood. He's probably got an air conditioner at his house. He wouldn't have firewood. He wouldn't have a fireplace. This is land. You don't take firewood from here without permission. You don't hunt here without permission. I've invited them all to hunt. None of them have taken me up on it. I'm allowed to. I'm in charge of who hunts here, in a way. As Des said, it's important to always get a heads up from Lisa because I have 5 dogs in a caravan and we don't want anything ricocheting. And, I might be outside on a full moon or on a clear night. I don't want people around here taking pot shots when there's lots of containers where things can ricochet. Have you heard of the people who... There was a lady who stopped her car and she camped and then she went down to the water. I found this story. There's lots of stories to bring you here. And she was she was collecting some water and a man was shooting, right? And he shot her dead in the head. He saw her eyes and he shot her. Thought she was a deer. Now, I said, open the eyes of my heart, Lord. It's an open home. The number on the 2 doors, one of them is 151, but no, he says it's 152 because he's a parrot and he doesn't know anything. I have a door. So he's doing an open home next door. It's empty. It says it's 152, but it's actually 151. And then he shows the door. It's orange. He's making a deal that he lives next door. And it's in the sign blue door. That's one apparently he painted. I'm not sure if he did those places up, but he said he just painted his door. He must have painted the one next door as well. Well, that's what he said when Angel suddenly, I don't know why, her name's Angela, but I called her Angel, and she's gone. Phillips. Look it up. She said rotten fruit to me. She didn't like it when I said Jesus doesn't care. Because her glasses are still on. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. She can't recognise love. You don't recognise Jesus. Des, I'm in bed with the enemy. Well, when I saw that torch, he stopped the man. It was the same man who was at the gate. Then he came up to me, and like I said, he's trying to keep his distance, yet I didn't care. He came close enough and I showed him my phone. He held my phone. I'm holding my phone now. And he saw the photos of the car that were watching over this land. The Māori dude and this whore in the driver's seat. The whore was in the driver's seat. They had plenty of time to shuffle and hide things because I pulled up at a very muddy ditch and I had to drive around the side, remember. So how long does it take to sort of throw some dope under the chair? Well, when I pulled up beside them, they were still stuffing stuff into the passenger seat. How much shit did they have out? I heard a radio. Not just cops use radios. When I did ring I've got to get a message to you, Des, because he says, don't hesitate to ring me, I'll be here. Well, he came the first time, and now he's turned up at the very same time as this man's at the gate, coming up. He said, oh, you want to come, shall I come up and see you? I never invited him. I was telling him that the dog was barking and calling yellow. And he walked towards me and he bounced back. He said, oh, bad vibes. And then Des went through the gate very, not slow, fast. And he knew yellow was there. Did I tell you about the time where I looked out my window there? I was giving him information. I think it may have even been when I saw the torch. I took photos of this torch light on the land. And I said, oh, I'll just go in and get my phone, show you the pictures. Well, when I was walking back out with my phone, he just left. And it can't have been the torch. It was for something else. He just left. And as he drove away, under his car, he didn't have a trailer, under his car was yellow and fire. They were under the wheels, 4 wheels, 2 dogs under the car, and he just drove off. And I talked to him about it. I said, when you drove away, Des, my 2 dogs were under your car. Can you please check around your car before you drive away? I said to Brian, when he drove through, stop. And I explained, I said, I'm not trying to be hospitable. This is the first time. And he knows this, because that's why I normally close both gates. I said, it's always going to be like this. I need a heads up so I can put the dogs in the caravan. I got them all in the caravan except Yellow. And he couldn't get Yellow to get in his car. So he just drove through quietly. Okay, so anyway, dog survived that one. That was a couple of days ago. And I've already told you that Des down at the gate yesterday, he just drove through and Yellow was following him and he was darting around under the wheels. And I was waiting for a squelch or to see a body, but didn't. And then the guy got bounced back. And he asked me to show him on the phone the pictures that I've put on part 1 of this part 2. And don't hesitate to ring me. So when I said to him, who was the guy? Like, when did you show up? Who was that guy? And I said, how did they get down the track? Because I watched them disappear down the road, not in the opposite direction. They may have, he said, I think they went in the bush and around. So they didn't even go down the walking track. I heard them say, don't talk to her. And they walked into the bush. So I didn't know what direction they went into. You know, I just went about my business. But this time I had to lock because the dog had gone down there. Remember all the chaos. So in all the chaos, this is happening. My dog is nearly run over. predator tries to come through my gate to see me uninvited. I didn't know who the man was still until Des come up. That's why if you have a look, I messaged him and I made it quite clear. So if anything happens to me, and it won't because I'm sitting pretty. This is all just another pantomime. It's documentation so you understand how the enemy works. Enemy at the gate. You know, the comedy where you've got two in the bed and there's one in the middle. In bed with the enemy, sleeping with the enemy. And just Google 3 in the bed or something. It's a threesome. So it's a threesome. You're living the threesome. And you don't know who they are. The Lord will tell you. Don't try the spirits, test the spirits. Have a very close look at that text. And I'm going to finish with this. So when I asked Des who that person was, it's the name of the person in the text on part 1. So look at the name at the bottom and remember, I saw a torch. I rang him, he came immediately. He stopped the car that was exiting from his land, and that's the same man. He told me the man is on P and he's looking to thieve. He lives in Kamara. He's out of work. How come Des, who just arrived, knew how he went? Because Des only just arrived on the land, and it was like half an hour before or more that I saw him arrive in the silver car. And I watched because I was trying to train the dogs. I watched him and he didn't go down Payne's Gully, which is the track. It's not my property, it's stock. I don't stop or talk to anyone going down. It's their business. But I'm training the dogs. Don't know who he is. But he didn't go down the track. He didn't acknowledge me. And I heard him say, don't talk to him. So how come Des, when I said to him, when he came up, how did he arrive? How come he went for a walk down the track, he said. I'm really pissed off because I heard he said to me bad vibes. Don't come up here and tell me bad vibes. I don't want your visits. I don't want you on this page. I have 288 subscribers. How many did Jonathan Clerk have? And what was the word of knowledge I got? 17% of them are turned up, and there's 164k. Then he went to Corey Barbie, and now I think he's got about 14k. So God's narrowing it down, but it's 17%. Billy the Kid is a parrot. The Lord showed me that they are imposters. They're imposters. They're watching. So he's doing an open home. He's got 2 doors. His door is that sign green. Angel accidentally presses Skype. It's 19 minutes now. Slaughter. Angel presses Skype and then she's not on it. And just Billy the Kid answers, so it's me and him talking. And I told him I just put 52 on my door. And I told him about the colour, cyan, blue. The crown, my crown, that's my crown, because I understand it. He said, I just painted my door that colour. Did you? Did you really paint your own door? Or are you just showing us the real estate? And you have a real in that house. Concrete. kitchen bench and there's a rat in the kitchen. Now, we couldn't afford a real concrete bench in the house at 32 Caithness Street. You're at the neighbour's house. Well, there's 2 Alsatians at the gate across the road from the neighbour's house. Number 32. Look up at 32 on Strong's. It's Angelus. It's angels. That's my house. It's sold, but the Lord has an angel to give it back to me. When you see that angel, you're going to be so scared that you'll give your house back to the person you stole it off. Yeah, because God needs me to have a house over there as well. You only lost, anything you've lost, it's only for a time. But you have to lose your life to save your life. So keep saving your life, Billy the Kid. Keep being a parrot. You wouldn't know about Sion if it wasn't me. The door is not 51. It's 152. 152, willful ignorance. It doesn't really, you're not really qualified as that because you've heard the message of Jonathan. You're parroting it. When you were 8. When you were 8, you ran away. Yeah. Where did you hear that? I've got an open home and we couldn't afford a concrete bench, so we bought some laminate, that stuff there. I did. That looked like concrete. I love the concrete bench. I love the concrete bench. And look, you think we believe you when you say that you can handle your dog Red? You can't handle Red. You've got it sitting there outside with the lead off. Who's going to live next to you with a dog that bites and a man who beats his dog? The father doesn't beat the dog. The father controls the dog. When he's good and ready, he'll take it up the back and shoot it. So enjoy your time. Enjoy your freedom and liberty. But it's not in Christ. Oh, and Des said it was the man with the torch, but he's put on weight, he's fat. Like that's a cover, like he didn't recognise him because he was fat. But he knew what direction he went in, yet he arrived way later. And then he told me that because he has a phone that's supposed to take photos of people that comes up here, and he said, I don't think my phone's working. His security, his phone's not working. And I just told him I was pissed off because he said bad vibes. Well, the Lord opened my eyes this morning. I didn't think I had a spiritual encounter yesterday other than what I spoke about in the morning. I was a bit disappointed. I like them. I want to live like that every day. But there always is one. And the Lord opened my eyes. Fire, would you stop it? Fire hates Teddy. She's okay when they've got space outside. She doesn't like Teddy. She knows he's not allowed on the couch. He's not allowed on the bed. So you've got to control your dog. So just because you see Gog sitting there with a loose lead, no one's fooled. I literally had a dog called Carly. My first husband, Joseph, took it up the back, threw some, he dug the pit first, just like the communist invasion, threw some dog roll in it. Carly jumped in there and he shot it in the back of the head. I asked him to. I didn't know how he was going to do it, but I thought it was humane. Because Carly was going to bite Amy. I love that dog, of course. It was a Doberman, but I didn't want to pay $300 to get her shot. And this is probably it was just as kind. You don't have to be kind, but I mean, God has been kind, really, hasn't he? I mean, like burning for eternity is not going to hurt. living your worst nightmare over and over is not going to hurt. Some of the things that Eric's seen in hell, no, that's not going to hurt. I saw it gentle. I just saw infinity. It's the worm. I saw an interesting video. This is the other one I wanted you to test. From a man who, I don't know why it came up, but his name's Monteagle. I've linked it in part 1. So test that one as well. He parrots, everything comes from Click. He acknowledges Click. So does Billy, but does that mean? It's a mix. It'll be half truth. He'll send you down the wrong road. I've watched him before, and partway through this Monteagle guy, even Click sent us to him. You can look at the messages under his video that I linked. Click sent people there. See, he didn't have the wisdom, he did, but then God allowed him to do it. Because you've got to realise the Lord said, trust no one but me. Don't trust Click, but he is who he said he is. Does that make sense? Don't trust me, but I am who I say I am. Because by absolutely just trusting the Lord, you will get not to where I am, not to where Click is. You'll hear our message, and that's all that matters. But you will be who you are. And you won't be a parrot like Monteagle and Billy the Kid. Do you understand? You won't be an imposter. They can't tell you anything that they haven't heard from you. Because the Lord gives us a heads up beforehand. We have intel. You need to get that. That's what makes you different. You got it? Des let that man come up here. He ran his car when yellow was under it, and he knew. And he said to me, yeah, that's the guy that you thought was on your land. I fucking know he was on my land. On Des's land. 2 years ago. I know it. And the angel bounced him back. You're going to bounce back. You know how you try and draw money out of an account? Lord, this is the Holy Spirit speaking. It's that blue. Cyan blue. You know how you try and draw money out of an account or put it in and it bounces back? Well, that's the Lord's account. Everything you're doing is just bouncing back. The labourers labour in vain. You're labouring in vain. You're a fucking try hard.